Yo. What up? By the way, thank you for reminding me not to get a buzz cut. I will physically die if I get a buzz cut. What's up, guys? This is odd. Is it working? Hello? I think it's working. I mean, if everything looks good. Yeah, yeah. What up, chat? Bro, it's been a long time. It's been a long time. Trying to set up this stuff. Alright, I'm gonna pop you guys out of chat so I can see you guys. Hey, it's 3:30 a.m. for me. Bro, you should be going to bed, big dog. What's up? What's up? VEX, have you tried the Steam Deck? Of course. I got it right there. I do like it, but it's kind of niche. What's up, Nova? What's up, Vincent? 2:30 a.m. Where Cat? Cat was just on me. Bro, you know I'm infested with cats. By the way, how's so I got like a new audio setup, right? I'm going through this, like, I'll just show you. It's like the Elgato stuff. Ooh, fancy Elgato. Chat's a little big on the screen. So I'm going through this now, and I can control it through the thing. So if you guys, so audio, you can hear music, right? I think it should be. Why am I streaming at 1:30 a.m.? Because it's not 1:30 a.m. here. Elgato. Yep. So many cats. Hear music? Okay, we good. We good. All right, I'm gonna make chat a little bit smaller on screen because I think it's a little too big. You don't need that much space, right? Let's do like 600. And maybe I can just crop it. A second. See, I don't know why it does this, but now everybody is pink in chat. Bro, what? Why is everybody freaking pink? I don't get it. It's good to stream though. Oh. It's 11 a.m. in Australia here. Oh, that's like perfect time, man. That's glorious. Just, if you're working, just don't forget to work. By the way, I'm trying a different thing too. So, I should be able to see chat more in real time. So I'm streaming at 1080p, which I know it should be 4K because we're on PC. But it's at 1080p now, but the latency on chat and stuff is faster, so it's more real time. 2:30 a.m. in South Africa, 3 a.m. in France. Let's go. Okay, I gotta ask you guys. Well, this has been popping off, obviously. I know nothing about this. I saw this video from Gamers Nexus, and I was like, I don't think I want to watch it without streaming. Yeah, it should be streaming 16K. So, have you guys seen this? And is it crazy? Because this seems just nuts to me. Look, there we are. The funny reaction face. It's actually wild. Video's crazy. Okay. Because I was kind of, when they did the EK one, bro, when they went over EK, and it's funny too. Okay, go. When they went over EK, to me, I honestly thought to myself, like, none of this surprised me with the EK. I don't even know who bought EK products and stuff. I know this isn't like an investigative thing that they're doing on Asus here, but it seems like now Gamers Nexus has a freaking spite war with Asus because they went over the whole thing of their boards melting or popping CPUs and stuff. Just like, what was that, like a year and a half ago? Dude, it is like, it's gonna be nuts. I guess that I ask y'all, I'm just gonna do a poll. How y'all feel about Asus in general? Maybe I'll say before, wait, how do I do a poll? I think this is it. Yeah. I'm gonna ask before this, how did you feel about Asus? And after that, yeah. Okay, so before this GN video, how is Asus? Good, bad. All right, I'm gonna ask y'all. All right, go for it, guys. Here we go. Using Asus. I have an Asus laptop. Oh wow, it's like bad. All right, so this is where we're at, guys. Cause I'm a little I've had some odd experiences. I bought a laptop from them, and the thing on it, like the charging block, was a what, like 2 or 3 days out of warranty, and it broke, and they did not replace it for me. I remember I made a video on it, and people were like, "Oh, you're just entitled." It's like, bro, it's like 2 days, man. Like, Jesus. And their bottom line must be crazy then. Hey, vote. Vote, guys, vote. Yeah, I remember I saw that and like, yeah, I gotta watch this live. Somebody unvoted? No way. And then it came back. Okay. So it seems like the consent, at least out of 50 votes, which isn't insane. Come on, guys, vote. Seems pretty mixed. I mean, it's kind of looking like what controversial game is there? It's looking like Helldivers 2 right now in the vote poll. Like, we'll go with that. So, saying about 53, 56, 46, so it's like basically, I feel like nowadays Asus, and I don't know if that's what they do to Gamers Nexus here, but of the past few years, I think their bottom line has been eating it a little bit. I mean, the ROG Ally was interesting. It had the SD card problem, which I think is ridiculous. That's such a big design oversight that you would put an SD card on there and it just like breaks itself because it gets too hot. Like who didn't think that putting it next to the cooling system for the card was going to make it too hot to work and break people's cards? I think it's stupid, bro. But, you know, they're the engineers. What do I know? What up, Retro? Avagog says, I haven't had any bad issues with Asus because I don't know what this. Their products seem to be really durable. I mean, I like their laptop that I got from them. I got like $1,000 laptop. Like, this was back during COVID, 2022. So we're kind of coming out of COVID, and it was $1,000 laptop that just had had a Ryzen 6800H and an RTX 3050 Ti. It's pretty powerful for what it is. So it ain't bad. I like it. And it holds up well. Armory Crate is But hearing customer RMA stories, oh my god. What's up, Clinged? Little Pookie Bear. It's bad because my cat's name is Spooky, and I like her little nickname is Pookie Bear sometimes. That's a little too. It hits too close to home, man. Their RMA is a scam and a similar experience, dude. Seriously, like I had a power brick that just went out of warranty, and they wouldn't even send me a new one. I didn't do anything to it; it just broke. You guys ready to watch this thing? Let's hit it.
And they wanted to try.
Okay. Man, he comes in hot. All right. Music? No music. What do y'all want? Obviously, everybody knows what this video is. We're all nerds here. We watch Gamers Nexus. No music? Okay. Cool with it. Cool with it. Thanks, Steve. Back to you, Steve. Let me know on audio for the thing. It should be good. All right, let's hit it.
And they wanted to charge us $200 for that ding. Also, they never addressed the problem we sent it in for. Only that thing that they decided to find.
Connector broken. Also don't know what that's referencing.
No idea what that means. Everything, there were no broken connectors when we sent it in.
System noise.
Okay.
Bro, I got an MSI motherboard. I bought it used from Amazon, and I definitely broke one of the USB ports and then sent it back to them.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, gap abnormal.
What does that mean? It felt like Asus tried to scam us when they tried to charge us $200 to repair something we didn't even claim as damaged in a warranty claim. This was sent back in. It's our Asus.
Wait, wait, is he saying what I think he's saying?
Claim as damaged in a warranty claim.
So wait, did they fix something they didn't even ask to be fixed? That's why I always order on Amazon. True.
This was sent back in. It's our Asus ROG Ally to repair a thumbstick
I'll keep watching.
And somehow that turned into Asus saying that LCD needs to be replaced, even though the joystick is covered under their repair policies. And what's better still is it felt like Asus was threatening us by saying, we'll send the device back possibly unassembled if you...
Dude, this sounds so weird. Do they not know who they are? I know this is like, oh, like, do you know who I am type of thing. Do they know that they're interacting with Gamers Nexus? Man, Gamers Nexus loves making hit pieces. What? They did? They hit themselves?
It honestly felt like an extortion attempt.
Were they testing it, or were they just doing this like as a normal thing? Or is he going to talk about that?
If you don't pay this fee. It honestly felt like an extortion attempt where they're like, if you want to see your beloved Asus Ally working again, pay us $200 for something totally unrelated to the actual warranty claim you had. When we sent this into Asus, the screen was working. They said that the reason they were rejecting the claim is because of this. Can you see it? Can you?
What?
Do you have the zoom lens on? We might need a You know what? Let's bring this down to the microscope. I'll show you the damage.
The micro. Oh my god, bro.
We're gonna find the damage. I've got the.
It takes all the tech that
Gamers
Gamers Nexus has to find it. Then. God.
So where
it ain't
is
nothing.
the damage?
Dude, how did the technician even find this?
Oh, there it is. That's.
We are not joking. They sent us a photo of this and said this is why we need to be. How did Steve even find this?
$200. And we're not alone in this, and we have evidence as always. Just this week, a user posted on Reddit noting that Asus demanded 3,758 Canadian dollars to repair.
Wait, were they? Did they want to repair the case?
A 4090 video card, which the user paid 2,799 CAD for. The reason for the repair was a scratch in the housing.
Instead of 4090.
2,700.
Oh, he bought a 4090. Oh my god. Oh my god. Dude, I saw a comment on one of the latest videos. It was just like, my wallet is bottlenecking.
99 CAD for. The reason for the repair was a scratch in the housing of the connector. Not burning, not melting, not fracturing. Literally a scratch. The same problem we had with our Ally. This sounds like policy. And as quickly as possible, here are examples from our own viewers who have emailed us. March 26th, a viewer emailed us claiming Asus cracked the chassis of their laptop.
Dude, the thing is, like, this dates back to what they've done before. Is like when they were going through the whole thing with the AMD CPUs blowing up or melting and stuff. This was a similar situation. When like they were really weird with customer service. Like they're really roundabout language that protected their asses the whole time.
One was sent in for repair.
This is a
The user
problem.
has documentation supporting this. March 13th, the viewer emailed us stating that their new video card exhibited instability. Asus
Almost
replaced
$3K for a 4090 is wrong. Yeah, why would you charge almost? Well, that's like 50% more than the original cost of the card, just because it has a scratch on it.
Device with a different damaged refurbished device.
Part of me thinks this is
February
funny, but
19th,
another part of me
viewer
is like,
emailed
dude, this is
us where
ridiculous,
Asus
bro.
Rejected a motherboard RMA
These
for
are real
quote-unquote
people.
Customer-induced damage. The user believes Asus damaged the board. Very first, the user emailed us telling us about an Asus RMA for a motherboard which Asus remotely diagnosed as having memory issues. Asus later quoted the user $190 for the repair of the $210 motherboard, citing quote-unquote physical damage after previously diagnosing a memory issue. December 21st, the user
Yeah, we're gonna fix your $200 motherboard for $190. Okay. All right.
emailed us telling us about how their laptop was stuck in RMA hell for over a month. December 7th, a user emailed us where Asus quoted them $2,658 to repair a laptop. The laptop is one of Asus's special ones that ships with liquid metal pre-installed by Asus. The liquid metal leaked. User states they never opened the system, and Asus denied the claim and demanded money to fix it. And we
See, that's why people put the tamper protection screws on it. Like, even though not, yeah, the tamper protection ones. So, like, even if, you know, even though they can't really hold people to the tamper, like if you unscrew one of the things with a sticker on it, they can't actually hold you to that usually. But that's why they do that, because if they saw you mess with it, then. But they didn't mess with the freaking liquid metal when it leaked, bro. Wasn't that a thing with PS5s too?
We have at least
Asus
100
liquid metal?
of these emails
God.
over the past several months alone, and this is a list.
Jeez, they got a
now
spreadsheet,
from
man.
May
They're cooking.
2023 alone. Last time we did this with Asus, featuring damaging devices and for repair and returning them, stating that 109 degrees for GPU hotspot is normal. It's not, and more. And Asus
Say, from me personally, I've never worked or even talked to Asus at all. Asus. I have Asus products though. I have a laptop and I have an RTX 3080 tough, and I also have an RTX 4070 Ti super tough. It's super tough, obviously, so it has to be good. But like, I got sent the one from the 4070 Ti super from NVIDIA. I don't know. I don't have anything else from them, I don't think. My dad has a laptop. I used to have a monitor.
clearly has a warranty problem. And today, all
Yeah,
of
I
that
think
is what
Jay
we're
got
talking
rid of
about,
Asus.
But we are fortunate enough to have our own experience with it.
Oh boy.
And it wasn't a good one. We sponsored our own undercover warranty investigation. If you want to directly fund the extreme lengths,
So I want to see later too if their experience with their ROG Ally, if that was, did they have to try this multiple times? Like, were they trying to do a hit piece? So I get a little iffy with that kind of stuff. Were they fishing?
one. We sponsored our own undercover warranty investigation.
This
If
is
you
fu-
want
I mean,
to
yeah,
directly
it's far
fund
from
the
isolated,
extreme
but
lengths we've gone to
every
lately
company
for
does have issues with
content and our
RMA.
Continued independent coverage.
But even my
grab
experience
this
has been
limited
bad.
time gold and blue variation of our cyber skeleton
Pretty cool
foil
shirt.
on store.gamersnexus.net.
I actually kinda like that.
The shirt features a new
I have a
fit
Gamers
and new
Nexus shirt,
colors
actually.
with a rib cage design made of computer components like cables, RGB LED strips, water cooling components, and a spine on the back made of MOSFETs, inductors, and VRM components. These shirts directly fund.
These shirts are the epitome of nerd. And I've still, like, I wore one of the Gamers Nexus shirts when I was going out. Well, I wear it actually pretty consistently. They said they weren't fishing this time around. But I've worn it going out, and I keep thinking somebody's gonna notice as a Gamer's Nexus shirt, but nobody notices. So I guess that's a good thing. They kind of look like normal shirts, but they're definitely nerdy. They're so nerdy.
Our in-depth reporting and ability to hold manufacturers accountable. You can also grab something like one of our heavy-duty silicone soldering and project mats. Head over to store.gamersnexus.net to pre-order
They just have a screenshot of him in the video up there.
the shirt today or grab one of our other items. So now 1 year later, almost exactly since we last...
Yeah, this is similar to like, I know like the perception though of probably what LTT isn't as good, but LTT does do this as well. They do the, what are they called? God, what are the? It's like the sponsor checks. Steven says I have 10 shirts and no one ever noticed. It's kind of wild to me. I thought people would notice Gamers Nexus shirts, but I guess not. Secret Shopper. Yeah, you're right. That's actually a fun series on LTT. And this is basically similar to this, but take it to an extreme pretty much.
Last talked about Asus's issues with its motherboards at the time, and then its warranty practices stemming from all of that, where we had attorney Vincent Augusta on the show to talk about some of his interpretation of it. We are back to blow the doors back open about what it's like to really be a customer of Asus. This is our Asus ROG.
Oh, you get the privilege to be a customer of Asus. Yes.
Ally Z1 Extreme.
Thank God.
We've had it for about just under 1 year, actually. And we've bought two of these now. The other was the non-extreme device. In just 1 year since purchasing, our Z1 Extreme has had the following issues. The micro SD card slot never worked and seemingly burned itself out. The left
they talked about that before.
on the X-axis stopped working and began drifting.
Oh. That makes it unusable.
Which you can see in some of our footage showing mouse cursor movement on the desktop. And the battery has already lost 8% of its lifespan in just 1 year of extremely lightweight use. That's a lot of problems in one.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it too, like if their unit's having issues, they only really do it for testing. Like to some other reviewers that do like long-term reviews of like an Ally. Yo, what up? Thanks for subbing. But like for other company or other people who do like long-term reviews, it makes more sense that they'd have more issues crop up. But like Gamers Nexus really just puts it through its paces. I don't think anyone daily drives one there. I mean, I might be wrong on that, but not that I know of.
And two of those are inarguably not our fault. In fact, they are so not our fault that Asus has made fixes for them part of their explicit warranty coverage. So anyway, we sent the Ally in, and before we did, because it seems like hundreds of you have complained to us about having similar issues,
I think they sent it in the
to
GPU box.
photograph and document every single corner of our device and also get the internals of it documented. In addition to super high resolution photos, we also took microscope shots of the PCBs, the connectors, we logged the...
Damn. I mean, okay. Granted, I'm going to give Asus a little bit of the benefit. I don't think that they're, to be clear, I don't think that they're in the right here. But I'm going to give them a little bit of a benefit of a doubt. When they see somebody send them all these screenshots of, or these pictures with microscopes and stuff, and they also can see that it's been taken apart, a company is less likely to want to work on the product. But it doesn't give them the right to scam you, obviously.
Level of stripping on the screw heads, and we logged any damage of our own to the plastics. We also removed our SSD, because our advice to anybody sending a device in for repair of any kind is to remove the drives.
That's smart. That's smart. You don't want people to take your data.
This was also...
Especially like I have a Steam Deck. A Steam Deck doesn't have too many personal things on it other than your Steam password. But like the ROG Ally is like a Windows device. Like Windows, oh man, they got everything on you, man.
A good test of Asus's processes and
SteamOS is a little different.
The timeline. First, we filed an RMA for the defective thumbstick, and this part is critical. We did this anonymously. They didn't know who we were. We're just a normal customer. And we also did not tell them about our broken micro SD card slot, which, again, as a reminder, That is an Asus problem, not an us problem. So that's important to this story because we wanted Asus
gonna turn off
to
alerts to
discover
chat,
it on their
by the way.
own if they were
I'll
going
be able to hear him, but you
discover
guys
it.
won't.
Here's how all this went down. First, we did some troubleshooting locally and swapped the thumbstick between our Z1 Non-Extreme and our Z1 Extreme. We found that this fixed the issue, indicating a defect in the PCB or the stick itself, so that's an easy repair for them. We then swapped it back to the original state, and our issue matched this one described on Reddit. On April
What's so weird though is if you know it's just a joystick problem, dude, joysticks don't cost that much. Well, it depends on the device, but like as a company, as Asus, dude, a joystick probably like $5. I mean, to replace it, the labor and stuff, maybe like 40. But they should make their devices in a way that is easily to replace a joystick. Joysticks fail all the time. Yeah, Steve could have repaired it too. I agree.
April 8th, we contacted
But they wanted to try this. I get why.
And our issue matched this one described on Reddit. On April 8th, we contacted Asus customer support. We told them only that the left stick doesn't work. Here's our exact RMA form. Patrick filled this out. I asked him to pretend to be a relatively uninformed customer who only knows
left stick is broken and only goes up and down. Ooga booga, ooga booga.
enough to know that the joystick isn't working right. This is part of our normal testing for warranties. So rather than acting as patient and well-informed customers, leading them to the answer, we act as an uninformed user who is normally patient at first, but becomes frustrated as the company genuinely becomes frustrating to deal with.
So they're basically like A-list actors. They know the system in and out.
That seems fair. So that's our process.
What's up?
And normally our view is if the company can survive that, it's kind of like a thermal.
Yeah, because I know on this Steam Deck, it is really easy to fix a joystick, especially with the OLED version, which is the one I have. I know I'm balling, but like that device is like very easily repairable. And I'd be surprised if theirs wasn't easy to replace too.
So that's our process. And normally our view is if the company can survive that, it's kind of like a thermal torture test. It's like if it can pass this test, it can pass anything. And we just keep the bar as long as it's sort of reasonable but frustrated. That's the max we'll dial it up to these days for these tests. Now, Asus asks you to write your operating system password and BIOS password in plain text.
I didn't even see that before. What? Dude, that's nuts. They just ask you password Asus sucks. Dude, that's insane. They write down your mother's maiden name, the street you grew up on, where you were born. Okay.
In their RMA form. They do suggest that you just wipe those passwords instead, though. So instead of doing something insane like writing a password on a piece of paper going in the mail, we ensured no passwords were on the device at all.
Right, so Asus recommends removing the operating system. You can do that? Oh, I guess you can, yeah. Yeah. Okay, and then deprovisioning the BIOS. I mean, I guess that makes sense. But that's still weird, man. That's real Asus right there. Asus, man.
Removing them from BIOS and also taking the SSD out. Asus is very clear in these things as well. They say, quote, Asus is not responsible, all caps, to you or any third party for loss of data, including during the inspection process. This is
that's one of the reasons why you take the drive out, just in case they broke your drive. Other thing is so they don't get your information, but it almost seems like you would have to provide the drive if they want to check Windows. Wouldn't you think that if they're repairing ROG allies, you would think that they would have basically like swap in drives, like hot swap ones that you could just plug in and get it to work. So I mean, you shouldn't need a drive. And honestly, why would they need your password for your OS or anything?
Another reason to remove the SSD. Asus doesn't guarantee, they say, the original parts, which would include the SSD. Again, another reason to remove it.
True,
Asus also
true,
tells
Jumpy.
you not to send
How
in the
would Gamer
device with
Nexus know if they
anything
broke
that you
it?
might want back because they'll throw it away. They actually explicitly say that they will, quote, not be returned to you Not that they might not be returned, but straight up that they won't be returned.
Oh. Please note all accessories sent in with your return are not listed below will not be returned. I didn't believe him when he said I had to read it for myself. Dude, that is nuts. Now, I don't know why you would send any accessories with it, but
Returned. So fair enough, they warn you.
They know it's going to
kept
get
the box
lost.
and the accessories. We then
But that's them covering their ass.
fabricated a signature for our undercover alias, Pat Stain, operating in conjunction with Agent Beeve Sturk. Both have been on the job for about a decade now. And we sent it in with a simple note that said, left stick is broken and only goes up and down. That seemed sufficient without being belligerent or overly annoying. On April 9th, we packed the box and shipped it to Asus's spec. Asus provides an RMA checklist. They ask you to wrap the device with a few inches of bubble wrap, pack it in a box with an...
They keep your SD card? Do they? If you leave an SD card in there, I don't know why they would need to take it out. Do you need to take... I think you need to take it out to work on it. Cameron, you mother... God damn it. God damn it, bro.
spec.
He said he's got 3 ROG boards. He does have 3 ROG boards.
Asus provides an RMA checklist. They ask you to wrap the device with a few inches of bubble wrap, pack it in a box with an air gap, then pack that box in a box. We think that's great. They also provide a shipping label,
that box
which
in a box
is
in a
good,
box
as
in a
we'd have
box.
dinged them pretty hard for that, since it's ultimately their fault the device is going back anyway. We dropped the device off on April 9th, and by April 16th, it was...
I mean, I just want to say, clearly from is they packed this box very well.
fault the device is going back anyway. We dropped the device
Why aren't people talking about the 2080 Ti more? Hey, we'll talk about it later.
off on April 9th, and by April 16th, it was at the RMA Center. Asus emailed us on April 9th.
Dude, I love that way.
April 16th,
Look, their entire thing is Pat Sting. Bro, they've infiltrated. Sting operation.
At the RMA Center. Asus emailed us on April 18th, and this is when the problems began. And they told us that they were testing the device. They said the turnaround would be 7 to 10
That
days.
chat thing came out so late.
Asus emailed us with this, quote, "We would like to inform you that your product is out of warranty or judged as customer-induced damage, CID. Thus, the repair charge shall be applied. Our service center will contact you with more detail." There was no way for us to respond to this. They don't have an option to reply. And in fact, the email was sent from a no-reply mailbox. Which if you
Wait. Did they say they're going to send it back to him or no? They just said it was out of warranty. Okay, cool. What are they going to do about it?
Our service center will contact you with more detail. There was
why I
no
miss
way
EVGA,
for us
yeah,
to
bro.
respond to this. They don't have an option to reply. And in fact, the email was sent from a no-reply mailbox, which if you reply to it, gets bounced as failed to send. So,
Okay, wait. Let me see this.
No-reply mailbox, which if you reply to it, gets bounced.
What exactly is customer-induced damage? The thumbstick is broken and didn't happen for my use. Okay. I haven't even had it that long. I like how... Dude, they went full infiltration mode. They didn't even put the apostrophe. What is... And no capital on the W. What is the damage? And then why can't you just fix it under stick warranty? Just not... Bro, this is... You can't even ask what's happening? They allow you... They show you a link of where it is, but they don't allow you to ask questions about what's happening. Bro, that's crazy.
As failed to send. So it's particularly frustrating just because we knew there was no customer-induced damage. We had documented every aspect of the device before sending it in.
And you know on another level of it, obviously they provided all these pictures and stuff, but like they know, they've tested this device. They're gamers, Nexus, bro.
And yet we had no way at that time to dispute the claim.
MSI Claw is not better, bro. No. That shit hot ass.
We just sat and waited. On April 19th, only a day later, we received a more detailed email. It said, quote, "We received your unit at a repair center with signs of damage which is not covered under the manufacturer's warranty." So strike two, and this is starting to feel like the Newegg motherboard story. They sent us a list referring to notebooks, monitors, video cards, and motherboards for examples of customer-induced damage, none of which are an Asus Ally, and all of which are...
They're like, oh, you know, your Asus Ally, it has a monitor, it has a motherboard, and it has a graphics card in it. So, well, it doesn't have it has a GPU in it. So, basically, it's the same thing.
Completely irrelevant. And they basically just said there's customer damage. And to us, the lack of transparency here, the lack of information is an immediate red flag. Whereas a customer, it feels like you're getting fleeced for money for something
That's like a copy pasta from them, bro.
You sent it in with one problem, and now it's suddenly got all these new problems you never noticed or heard about. And it just feels like a scam. So it's certainly structured to encourage acceptance from people who don't know better and from people who feel time pressure, because they put you under a lot of time pressure to agree to all of this quickly, lest you receive the device back in pieces. And
yeah, it's weird because they have the ROG Ally, and it's almost like, are they going to keep it or not? Bro, I've had that problem before. I sent a monitor. I had an AOC monitor, and they're based in Korea. So I had to send it to Korea to get it fixed. I mean, like, I kind of thought that it wasn't under warranty, and my cat's pissed on it, so I figured it was my fault at that point. But I sent it to them, and when I did, they just kept it. Oh yeah, it was North Korea, of course.
Wondered what the damage could be. So Asus sent us this photo of the damage. You might not be able to see it. Again, we had to check our own photos to make sure they didn't
That's crazy. That little nick?
Cause it, but that microscopic ding
they
was
zoom
in
in
fact
too.
from us. And they wanted to charge us $200.
What the fuck? Dude, you can't be serious. They didn't even fix it. Okay. This is what they're doing. All right, guys, I think I figured it out. What Asus is doing is, instead of making an RMA program, they're actually doing this for profit. You see? They just fix these problems and then charge people money for them, and then they become their RMA business. It's profitable. Usually people lose money on RMAs. Think about it. They're geniuses, bro.
For that ding. We didn't even ask them to fix that part. We didn't even notice that part. That's how small it was. Also, they never addressed the problem we sent it in for, only that thing that they decided to find.
That's crazy. That's crazy, bro. That's like taking, like, you take your car into the shop, right? You go in to change the oil, and there's a nick on the body. They're like, oh, it's there. $200 for finder's fee. We're not going to fix it, though. Like, who cares?
Us, in combination with the emails from our viewers and with the recent story about that video card with the insane charge related to a similar problem, it feels like an intentional attempt or a policy to mislead the customers into a position where they'll pay for a service they don't need. And it's
almost like upcharging. You know, like when you go on like a sales line or something, they want to sell you something else. Like, you're going to get your internet fixed, right? And they're going to upgrade you to the new package. It's like, oh, your internet's broken. Instead of fixing it, we could give you fiber. Yeah.
You're really stuck if you don't know what you're doing as a customer, and if you're not.
What's bad too is, like, an ROG Ally, like, this is a particular product that is like pretty normy. Like, I'm not sure if that many like very technical people are into. I mean, it's like a little bit further. Like, if you're getting just like a console, you get a Switch, okay? Or even if you're going more hands off, you're getting a Steam Deck. An ROG Ally is a little bit above that, but it's not that technical of a device. So you're gonna get some people that don't know what the heck is happening. And if you got like weak self-esteem, bro, people get taken advantage of. I already see it.
Willing or
like confidence, you're weak.
Not sure you can stand up for yourself because they're trying to sell an unneeded fix. And if Asus is worried about losing money on every Ally because they have to replace the entire motherboard and 2 thumbsticks, then maybe this would be a way to help cover the cost. We don't.
That would kind of make sense. You just think about it too. They made that mistake with the SD card slot, and they had to. Did they even fix that? I don't even think they have. Have they fixed the SD cards? Is there a fix for it? I think the only way you can really do this is like try to heat shield the area and like try to get the heat away from it, but it's just like bad design. Maybe they just don't know. So you guys are saying no? I don't think they did. I never heard anything about fixes for that. Okay. But like if they're having to compensate people for SD cards because their thing doesn't work, makes sense.
Know their motives, but if I were to try and think through reasons why you would do this, that'd be the first one I would assume. Now, back to the email, nowhere in it did Asus say it would fix the thumbstick for which we sent the device in. The best part is that in the background of Asus' own photo of damage, our own...
Bro, it looks like they just looked at it, and they're like, okay, $200. That's crazy.
RMA form can be seen with the words detailing the completely unaddressed thumbstick issue. Asus said the quote was delivered for an LCD module replacement at $98.53. Labor for that was $60 and shipping was $20, because now they're claiming there's customer-induced damage, which means that they can try and scam us out of another $20.
Dude, that is so scummy. Dude, that's so scummy. They literally... Bro. They're going to charge you more because there's a small amount of cosmetic damage. And it kind of sounds like they're almost trying to conflate the thumbstick and the little bit of damage on the case. Like,
$20 for shipping,
dude,
instead of being forced to eat the cost for their own stick
that's
defect.
fucked
That
up,
started
bro.
this whole thing. So that's a clever way to avoid paying the shipping cost. There's some tax in there too, totaling $191.47.
What is the tax for? What did they sell? It's sales tax. What? You weren't sold shit.
At this stage, they finally gave us the option to pay, reject, or dispute, and once again, nowhere in there did it mention the original issue or the micro SD card issue that we knew existed but wasn't disclosed. Quote, please be advised that
I guess you have to dispute at that point, I guess. I don't know.
that if payment is not received for repairs to the unit will be sent back unrepaired and may be disassembled.
Wait, are they saying that they might... Okay, wait. So they're saying if they took it apart, then they would send it back to you? They wouldn't even put it back together? Dude. You took it apart. Put it back together. How do you expect a normal person's going to do that? Or they want you to pay for it? That's just like another thing is like they want you to pay and just eat the cost. What?
Liquid damage may prevent our repair team from reassembling the unit for return. Where did the liquid damage come? That like came out of nowhere.
Does somebody piss on it?
The repair technicians are drinking a little bit while they're working on it. That would actually explain a lot. That might.
But that's alcohol. Alcohol is fine, bro.
But we just
alcohol and electrolyte. That's great.
It's part of some form email that they just send to anyone. But that doesn't make it okay. It states the liquid damage in a very matter of...
I mean, at this point, like metaphorically, they already pissed on it.
...fact way. And
Bruh.
we think that is manipulative and accusatory. And this entire email reads to me like, if you ever want to see your ally again, pay us.
Yep.
Or it'll...
That's extortion, isn't it? Is that what that word is?
In pieces next time. So the Godfather. I think that's...
You're buying Asus. You agree to get pissed on. And you like it, too.
That's what that was. Now, we have a number of legal questions about this, and so I connected with Louis Rossman to ask if you knew anyone who
the
could
god of
help
repair
inform
on
us
YouTube.
and educate the audience on your rights as a consumer for warranties. Magnus and Moss, for example, is one of the commonly cited acts, and what else you might be able to do. It sounds like we're going to have a part 2 to this, and it'll be a pretty interesting one. But for now, we need to finish these emails. So in the meantime, the rest of Asus's email said this, quote, please note that if no action is taken with this quotation, your product will be returned to you unrepaired after 5 business days.
They repeated that. Wow.
From the invoice date, end quote. However, Asus also says that acceptance of the quote is required in 3 days and that the quote is only valid for 4 days. This creates intense.
Damn, what if you didn't check your email for like 3 days? What did they do? Dude, I don't check my email for like 3 days sometimes.
Pressure for the customer to accept because delays could result in a disassembled box of scrap being returned in the mail. Asus also doesn't even guarantee it'll work. They say, quote, any out of warranty repair fee prescribed.
Weren't they supposed to fix it? Dude, that's crazy. They might give you a freaking broken one. But sir, I am without my PC. Imagine you use your ROG Ally to check your email. I mean, I guess it's possible.
By Asus and accepted by the customer is non-refundable and does not guarantee that repairs can be made. Continuing the timeline, we didn't respond for a few days. On April 22nd, we received a reminder that the invoice has been outstanding for 2 days now. Asus again warns that the device will be returned unrepaired if we don't respond within 5 total days, even though the device has defects that Asus.
Then an invoice quote for your repair of your product was recently sent to you 2 days ago. If you haven't received it, please check your spam folder. Dude, I don't get when some companies do this and they send you another email. And they're like, if it's in your spam folder, bro, this one's going to go to the spam folder too. That happens to me all the time. They both go to the spam folder. Make contacts to So they're saying that they wouldn't fix. Dude, that's ridiculous. They might not fix it if you don't respond in time.
Choices. There is no presented option to reject the unnecessary paid-for repair and accept only a free repair covered under their own explicit policy. Fortunately, because their warranty policy is written and they are contradicting themselves, customers have some pretty substantial legal ammunition to be used against Asus, and we'll talk.
Dude. They're gonna get sued? Let's go. Dude, I mean, this is like a recurring thing, bro.
Talk about that more in a little bit. On April 22nd, we issued an RMA dispute. The dispute only allows 100 characters, so you really don't have much room to defend your case. We tried to send more detail, but a 100 character.
What? Dude, I can't believe it. You can't even tell them what's wrong. Bro, they got you by the... Bro, they got you by the fucking balls. Oh my god, they're squeezing and twisting.
Character limit is pretty strict. To fully test Asus, our dispute was written with the tone of a frustrated, uninformed customer, so it's intentional to read like this, and we accused Asus of breaking our screen because their quote indicated a screen replacement despite us sending it in with a functioning screen. The same day, Asus responded to the dispute with this, quote, our service team found case dent on your unit. The screen works fine. However, in order to replace the dent case, the whole LCD...
Nobody asked. Nobody cares about the dent.
Screen needs to be replaced.
Bro, this kind of seems like they've got like 3 people working there and they're trying to like shuffle off like all of the repairs. Oh my god.
As it is directly connected to the case. They are a whole part. Physical damage is excluded from the standard warranty coverage. If you would like to proceed with service, payment is required. Or we can proceed warranty repair for card reader joystick issue only and ignore the dent if you do not care about.
They never asked. Dude, that would be something you fix the joystick. This is how it should be done. You fix the joystick, and then you do a follow-up email, and you're like, hey, we noticed there's a dent on your case. Would you like us to fix it while we're here? That's how it should work. Because that's something, it's cosmetic. And they would have to tell you that it'd be expensive to fix it. This is not, nobody cares, bro. I just want to be able to use the ROG Ally. If the joystick doesn't work, you can't use it.
End quote. On April 24th, we sent another frustrated email in reply and...
Oh, I know this is them making money. I get it. But God. Bro, they deserve to be like sued over this. This is disgusting.
The screen replacement. The same day, Asus sent us a second reminder that our RMA will be automatically rejected if we don't pay up immediately. That this dispute we filed didn't pause the process of rejecting the RMA because it hadn't been paid for yet is insane. It's manipulative. It is...
Wait, so that timer's ticking down while you're emailing them about this too?
Overbearing, and it applies a huge amount of pressure to a legitimate customer to
what if they don't email you for like 2 days?
Lest they risk receiving a device unrepaired and potentially disassembled. 10 days in, Asus finally answers our question we've had this whole time. They say they'll repair the joystick and confirm that it doesn't require payment. They say, quote, we have reached out to our repair team to request partial repairs.
Okay. Get this straight, right? So the normal joystick fix is covered under warranty, right? Like, it doesn't matter. They shouldn't have to pay at all for that, right? I could maybe see shipping, and that's about it. Joystick and SD card, those are completely covered by warranty. So they're just trying to squeeze out every little drop out of Gamers Nexus here. Man, that dent, that dent. Man, I pay $3,000 to fix that dent. Oh, they're scamming. They're scamming Pat Sting. My bad.
End quote. After Asus told us this, we received another email that states this, quote, we received your service cancellation on your pending repair. We will proceed with returning your unit to you unrepaired, end quote. And
dude, they're not even going to do the free fix. Oh my God, dude. Dude, I would have an aneurysm dealing with this.
And the RMA number that they showed in this email was the only one we were ever issued.
So there's like 20 people working on the same email. That's what's happened. And none of them talk to each other. It's like the US government, man.
There were not separate RMA numbers for the out-of-warranty and in-warranty repairs. It's now unclear to us as customers what the hell Asus is even going to do at this point. It's Schrodinger's RMA. The device is both repaired and unrepaired as long as you don't open the box. We ignored that email and we replied to the one prior that told
if you do open the box, you might find out that it's still disassembled and they sent it back to you.
Unless they'd fix the joystick. We replied with a simple okay, as there was no call to action and no questions. The next day, Asus said this, quote, our team has indicated that they are able to proceed with the repairs of your product and ignore the cosmetic issues. As such, we discarded the quotation and you will receive a system-generated cancellation response, which should be ignored as repairs will resume. Now, as a reminder, this came after they sent that response.
Discarded the quotation. Okay.
So we're in a period of confusion.
So, yeah, there's like 20 people working on this.
For about a day. Finally, on April...
Open the box and the cat peed on your ally, Joe.
April 26th, Asus says it generated a shipping label for return. We're still not sure if they fixed anything at this point. April 29th, it ships, and on May 4th, it's delivered to us. Asus provided this hard copy of the repair report.
Dude, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see it. Did they even fix it? Okay.
No online version of this made available to us, which means that this is the first time in the entire
that's
repair report.
This is good at least. What they're saying is that they didn't have an SD card and they made note of that right at the beginning. So at least, you know how they said that they wouldn't return you with your accessories? At least that's a thing. What's up, Top Time?
no online version of this made available to us, which means that this is the first time in the entire process we have any indication that's what Asus actually did. And here's a quick clip of me and Patrick trying to decipher what it means.
So problems,
Okay.
can't detect memory card. That's an issue we had. I don't think we ever told them about that.
We did not tell them about the SD card.
They did do, what is that even called? They evaluated it. That must have been when they found the $200 dent in it.
Connector broken, also don't know what that's referencing.
No idea what that means. Everything, there were no broken connectors when we sent it in.
Mechanical assembly problem.
What is that?
Maybe the thumbstick.
Strip screws?
System noise.
Okay, don't know what that means.
Yeah, gap abnormal.
What does that mean?
We had taken it apart
What the hell? Okay.
before, so.
Yeah, but that was, I don't think I've like ever been
I guess they have to like break it down and break down every single part of it so that they can tell you what they can scam you on.
more careful with a disassembly. And then action, so they say
Tape for system noise.
tape.
What? Replace parts. Oh boy. Tape. What is that, like 50 cents?
Wait, okay, we'll have to
Mylar.
we'll inspect that. And then gap abnormal, mechanical, Mylar for assembly
Mylar?
problem. And for the assembly problem, they exchanged.
How do they do the typo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times? Dude, that's incredible. That's incredible.
The parts. Then they have I/O board for connector broken, con for connector broken. This whole thing's
Okay.
a con, and then main board for can't detect
Whole
memory
thing's a
card.
con.
Wait, what the fuck?
So all of these are the in warranty repairs that were done. Because they have a note here that we denied the screen replacement.
Yes, we denied the unnecessary screen replacement. So
That is so, like, dude, just think about it too. That is just bad design. Why do you have to take apart and basically throw away a screen just to replace the shell on the unit? Am I crazy? Okay, like, you have to do that on the Steam Deck, don't you? I think you do. But you can replace the bottom shell on the Steam Deck without taking apart the screen. It's so bad to send a new one. True. True.
So here's the quick recap. The motherboard, both I/O boards, and both joysticks were replaced as part of the repair. On
What? Wait, run that back.
the motherboard, both I/O boards, and both joysticks were replaced as part of the
Or they basically built a new ROG Ally. Well, I guess that's not the battery. That's so much of it. The freaking motherboard, the joysticks, and the I/O. Don't they just have to replace that joystick? Am I nuts?
repair. On the report, these are all marked as ECN, which we think stands probably for Engineering Change Notice. This to us would
Okay.
imply that Asus is replacing these components as part of standard practice when any
That's a lot. Why are they replacing that much?
Ally comes in from at least 2023. What's really unclear is that their RMA language says that it's covered for the Asus ROG Ally, and it says parenthetically 2023. That is not a model. That doesn't exist. The only thing that exists is, sorry, some customer-induced damage, is the RC71L. There's no year signifier on it. Now, if we were to give them some leeway, maybe what they mean is manufactured in 2023. So
You know, I don't always think that like GN is that funny, but bro, sometimes, man, they got some bangers, bro.
it seems like they might be just replacing all those boards, or maybe those within a certain
They're
serial
goofy.
range. If that's true, it sounds like a soft recall that should have probably been turned into a real recall a long time ago, or at least done with active outreach to the customer. Now, barely more than a week ago, The Verge directly asked to Asus, quote, has Asus actually found a hardware fix for the faulty SD card readers? If someone RMAs their ally to Asus this way, will they get an SD card reader that no longer fails? To which Asus responded, quote, our commitment is to assist all customers effectively. If any user suspects they're encountering issues with their products, we encourage them to reach out and make use of our RMA process as needed. They can expect us to provide a suitable resolution.
So basically, they're like, hey, you can use our RMA because we make money on that. To be honest, too, with the SD card reader, I don't even know what they do about it. They just messed up, man. That's like the red ring of death on the Xbox 360, bro. They just messed up.
RMA process as needed. They can expect us to provide a suitable resolution. In other words, to translate corpo speak, no, they haven't found a solution, because if they had, they would have said yes. It's really that, it's as simple as an if-then statement. If the answer isn't equal to yes, it is no. It doesn't matter what they say after that.
It's true. It's true. He's definitely right about this. There's some stuff like, do you guys hear about the Xbox layoffs and stuff lately? Like there was an interview with the Xbox president, and they were asking some of those tough questions about the layoffs, and there is not a good answer for the president to give. So she just kind of like talked around it, kind of gave an answer, and you can't say anything. It's just bad. They don't want any bad PR.
Asus did fully repair our ally.
I get it.
That includes both the stick issues
I keep them stockholders
and
happy.
the unmentioned micro SD card issue. For now, we'll see if it fails again. That required replacing basically the whole system: the APU or the SoC, the Wi-Fi card, all of the VRM components, all the MOSFETs, inductors, capacitors, everything that's on the board. All of it was replaced, and
that's nuts.
It was only done after we fought them over a manipulative repair process that, in the early stages of it, up until we finally got a resolution, it feels like it tries to guide customers.
Dude, I might get that shirt, bro. That shirt's kind of cool.
Into just accepting a $200 fee for the world's tiniest plastic divot. To replace the board and the sticks is...
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Steve here. I feel like the main thing that they're trying to do here is just try to recoup them costs, man. I mean, they're bleeding out on these repairs. And it seems like the ROG Ally needed some more time in the oven. It has some problems. Yeah, thanks, Cirrus. Service centers LV1 do whole part swaps. Parts get returned to... Oh, I see what you mean. So they're just replacing boards because that's all they have. I think that's what you're saying.
Is most of the device. In fact, one of the only things they haven't replaced at this point is the screen, which is interesting because that's what they were trying to charge us to replace. So those are some expensive repairs, and if Asus is having to do those repairs on all 2023 Allies, it may explain why the Ally X hardware that they just announced was announced at all, and why Asus is uncomfortably squirming in a...
This makes a lot of sense. I mean, that's why it needed more time, though, bro. They're releasing another one. That's why the turnaround has been so quick. And that's why, like, Valve, for example, with the Steam Deck hasn't been so pressured to release a new one, because there hasn't really been any issues with it.
New interview with The Verge, quote, and while Asus still won't admit that the Ally's SD card reader ever had any fault, The Verge says,
Dude, that's so much cap. What the? They're saying it. What? Well, okay, they're not technically wrong. The SD card reader is fine. But they're like, actually? Like, what? It's the only problem they're breaking is because they got too hot because the freaking cooling fans blow right over it. That's stupid, bro.
tells me it's the same exact SD card reader it uses in its laptops, and says it doesn't believe any issues actually had to do with overheating. The Ally X will have a rearranged motherboard layout that sounds like...
Oh, that's crazy how that works, huh? That's crazy. It had no problems. Ah, man, but we have to redesign it. Ah, that's crazy.
It'll move it away.
That's corpo, so much corpo, bro.
Subquote of Asus to The Verge, they said, we don't want people to think that's what we had to do. We had to move things around.
What? Dude, that's nuts.
The board to make them fit. It was just like, I can't believe someone who works for the company said that on the record and got quoted. That is probably the most defensive response I've ever seen to something like this in the press. Where they're like, yeah, we moved everything and it's not where the hot stuff is anymore. We were going to do
that wasn't
anyway.
a problem,
we don't want
though.
people to think we're doing that to fix the issue, because then, like, what exactly is the downside of people thinking it was to fix an issue? Unless maybe Asus said something contradictory to that prior.
Well, Asus has never made a mistake before. That's the thing.
I think they did, actually. That might be the downside. And if we hadn't pushed back,
they just redesigned it for fun.
Documented our device carefully and exercised some basic rights, it is possible that Asus could have twisted this and either made us pay $200 or put us in a position where, as a customer, you feel like you have to. The mark that Asus used to justify a new screen was a side effect.
I'm guessing this is when they had already disassembled it, right? So that's why there's a gap on it. I don't think their Ally went there looking like that, right?
Of us opening the Ally to remove the SSD anyway, because they say that they can't guarantee your data will stay on there. So claiming customer-induced damage for that mark could be a makeshift warranty void if removed sticker without saying it. In other words, the customer appears to have opened the device.
You know what they should start doing? They should just make the shells for these like so delicate, so if anybody ever opens it, then they claim that, right? And then when they claim that, then it's basically like the warranty sticker. And then plus, hear me out. You know, they also get the right to say, oh, we can fix that for you.
Device, so reject.
It's just going to be like $2,000. That's it.
Sticker without saying it. In other words, the customer appears to have opened the device, so reject the claim. And if that's the case, that's where Rossman thinks, to quote him, it might be a bullshit way. Can you tell Lewis said it? To skirt the Magnuson-Moss Act. And we'll have more about that in probably a part 2, where we're going to be speaking with some experts on the matter of all of this. But for part 1, couple takeaways. First of all, you can file FTC complaints, I've learned. There's a way to do this. We will link the form below for you. Some really basic stuff you fill in.
Wow.
But if any company, Asus
You're taking it to the government,
screws you in a warranty process in a way which is unfair or potentially fraudulent, then there's actually a form that, from what Louis Rossman was telling me, and from what some of his associates we'll speak with soon, were telling me, it sounds like the FTC takes that very seriously now. My understanding is that the fine is up to...
I mean, they should take it seriously, bro. I mean, like, if this happens to everybody, like, people can't afford that. What's the point of RMA if you get scammed on it?
$37,000 per occurrence. This whole situation, this is unbelievably anti-consumer. I, at this point, have absolutely no tolerance for Asus's behavior with this stuff, because last year we covered it extensively. And if you remember, the end of that series, it was not quite positive, but it was going from extremely negative up to neutral. It was on an uptrend. The reason is, at the end of the whole series, Asus's then PR person sent me a 10-point plan where they said, here's what we're going to improve point by point. And it actually was pretty good.
I bet they did that. Yeah, they fixed, yeah. They fixed the RMAs, yeah.
Good. And so at that point, we reported it. We said, this sounds good, but we don't know. We need to wait and see, because it takes time to roll all these changes. We'll have to revisit it and test it again. That PR person has since quit their job.
Oh, they're gone.
And gone
Yep.
to a different company.
I wonder why that happened. Actually, wait, what do you guys think? Do you think they quit because they're forced to, or do you think they quit because the company was so misaligned with what they thought? That is insane.
That as I
What's up, Gal?
understand, they
Does it matter?
more,
True.
which is also telling for the whole Asus
It kind of does matter.
situation. And we are now 1 year later. Asus has had time to make these changes, and they're still doing the same bullshit.
Well, the problem is the only person there that thought of the changes to make, they left. So, like, what can they do? You know what I mean?
So, yeah, at some point it starts to look like it's policy and not like it's oopsies. We happen to screw up on specifically your thing. And so I think
Oopsies,
for us,
the cat peed on your ROG ally.
my conclusion to this is pretty simple. First of all, if you've had an Asus warranty problem, we want to hear about it. Email us at tips@gamersnexus.net. We already have at least dozens, if not multiple hundreds of emails from people, but we'd still like some more. So send them over with as much documentation as you have, photos, the emails, the chat logs. If we use any of it, we'll redact it. We may contact you, so send that over to us. And then additionally, my note to all of you, whether you buy motherboards or
I just want to say, it's like really impressive. Like, it may not sound like a lot, but if they go through a bunch of emails from people sending them things, dude, this takes a long time. It is a lot of work. It's respectable.
allies or whatever, we've now seen this in two areas of Asus's devices, motherboards and allies. That's what I have personally experienced with them. There's plenty of posts online. People have laptop problems. There's the video card one that blew up in the news this past week. And I think my statement's pretty simple.
What's the video card one? Is that the one? That's the one with the. Is that the one with the ROG Strix?
If you value customer service,
It's that
and
one,
you
okay.
think you will ever need help with the device, don't buy Asus. Unfortunately, I don't know that I have a recommendation for an alternative for things like motherboards and video cards. I think what you
I mean, let me see what he says. Let me see this.
do is you have to buy the thing you think is the least likely to cause you a need to have support. But
Because I don't think any of the companies are that much better than Asus. I will say I've worked with dude, the only company that I've really asked for help on was Elgato. And their Elgato, like the Elgato support was great. They tried to help me walk through the issue. It ended up just being that I had a faulty capture card, but they walked me through it and were checking everything with me. It was cool, man. But I don't know if there's any other, like, Gigabyte, are they that much better? I think I've had I had a shit experience with MSI one time. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was an idiot and I put 2 4 terabyte hard drives in RAID 0. So that means if one hard drive fails, we lose all the data of 2 drives. I did that on my system, right? Like a dumbass. Even though that's where I didn't have a backup of my data and I was just keeping my data there. I did that. And then basically what I did is I updated the BIOS on my motherboard and it destroyed the RAID array. So even though the data was still there, both the hard drives are still working. I couldn't make them match their data back again. And then I got on the phone with MSI and I asked them, I was like, hey, is there any way to do this? Just so I could at least recover the data. It's not like they broke. And they were just like, why'd you do that? Why would you do that? I was like, I don't know. I was stupid. There's probably a way to do it too. And MSI was like, I don't know, man. I don't think they're all that good, bro. So I'm saying even EVGA screwed them before. Our made is 1080 Ti and they sent me a $50 cheaper card because they said they're out of the one. They should have given you a little bit of a credit for that.
But hopefully if enough people are vocal about this and it goes beyond sort of YouTube rage bait and we can actually start getting some policy involvement, which is the reason I contacted Lewis Rossman.
Now, I will say, like, straight up, that if we get people, like, involved and it's like, if more people are angry about this and everything, things are going to cost more. It is. Like if there's regulations that companies can't do this, we gotta realize that things are going to cost more. That's gotta be the price we pay. I mean, you pay for customer support. That's like one of the reasons why EVGA, I mean, usually their cards were a little bit more expensive, but they had great customer service usually. Not someone in chat said not a good experience, but at least they did send you another card. So, yeah.
And to talk to people he knows, hopefully there's actual change here. And I'm actually somewhat optimistic about it because there's some people who sound very informed on all of this, and like they might be able to make something happen in this industry as well as the one they've already been working in. So that's it for this one. Unbelievably bad experience with Asus. If nothing else is taken away from this, take away that Asus's warranty service is absolute trash in our experience, and we cannot recommend them if you think you will ever need it. So that's it.
Dude, yeah, I don't trust them either, bro. That's why at this point with tech, I hope you just learn how to fix stuff yourself if you can. God, you shouldn't have to. But damn, you should really just learn at that point.
For this one, thanks for watching. Subscribe for more. Grab this shirt on store.gamersnexus.net if you want to support our efforts directly, and we'll see you all next time.
Hey, yo, I might get that shirt for real, for real. Look at it. That shirt's kind of cool,
Maybe
man.
Asus said
It's kind of dripping. Dude, this whole situation is nuts. Like every single opportunity they got, they either made the situation more confusing for you or they tried to upsell you to get other things. And that is just, brother, that's ridiculous, man. Like how, the thing about this is like the customer service experience. I know in the world that we live in, it ain't gonna happen like that. But the customer service experience needs to be smooth for most people. It's like when people buy a product, people don't know everything they're talking about. Like this is Gamers Nexus. They knew that this was a weird thing that Asus was doing, but a normal person might not know. And they're just like, oh, they're gonna fix. I guess I'll have them fix the dent of it. It's $200, but they're gonna fix other stuff. So it is what it is, you know. I mean, they'll get people with that, and for the average person, that might be more difficult to like suss out. And that's not how a customer service experience should be to anyone. And the only way I think we really fix that is with regulation from the government. Yeah, this is all US based stuff. I can only speak on the US. I don't know where it is anywhere else, but yeah. This is insane, bro. It's posted on the Asus subreddits about weekly or so. Wait, let me look at Asus Reddit. Oh my god, it's at the top right now from Steve here. It's time to move on with Asus. I've been an Asus fan since I was 13 years old. I'm 40 plus, bro. I bought dozens of motherboards throughout the years. Both my monitors are Asus. Bro, you're invested. Jesus. But since there are bumps all around the case of fail, and there was blah, 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 blah. Bro's yapping too much, but he's saying to give up on him. This is wild. Wait, is this on here twice? It's on here twice. It's got 469 updates. 95 updates. People aren't that active on here. Okay. Asus Tough Gaming A15 video card disappeared. Hi, I have an issue on my laptop. Its graphics card suddenly disappeared. I don't think that's an RMA issue. Oh, I just want to see. Are they like... They're having issues, though. The thing about it, though, is on a Reddit, people are going to... It's going to be people that have problems that post on here. So this is probably a larger proportion, like a louder minority. Even though it still might be really common. I'm not seeing anything. Damn. That's insane, guys. Okay, so if you guys don't buy an Asus product, what are you buying? If you have to pick an AIB, which is basically a graphics card maker, who do you pick? Help, please. I've been having trouble with my laptop for a couple months. Will randomly disconnect from the internet. I can't find the internet option settings. I thought recently... Oh my god, bro. So people are saying MSI, not Gigabyte. Well, yeah, I don't think you're buying a motherboard from Power Color. I picked the cheapest. But nowadays, even... How's your guys' experience been with, what's the company called? God, what is it? ASRock. Yeah, ASRock. Isn't that just a sub-brand to Asus, too? ASRock is great. Wow. Asus ROG Z790. Hi all. First and foremost, I'm highly... People yap on Reddit. Nobody cares, bro. Just say the problem. Today I built a machine for a customer. Okay. So you broke it. Okay. What's A-bit? On notebook stuff, Acer or Dell, maybe HP. Yeah, in terms of graphics cards, man, I only buy the Dell Alienware graphics cards. You know what I mean? I find them on eBay. Dude, that's insane, man. This whole situation, this is insane. By the way, if you guys haven't yet, I'm putting it in chat. Go ahead and like the Gamers Nexus video. That's insane, man. And just like props to Gamers Nexus, because like, man, they really do. They put in the work on this stuff, man. They're so thorough. Without Asus, I'm nothing. I don't even know what A-bit is. Lenovo does have a 4090. I saw that. Man, they put in some crazy work, though. I'm excited to see what the part 2 is going to be on this. I thought this was going to be like a one and done. But man. All right. I wanted to... Not that one. I wanted to talk about something else. Because this situation's insane. But there's even more to it. All right. So, well, not to this specifically. But check out this clip from this Moore's Law is Dead video. So if you guys don't know, actually, let me go over it first. So Intel did probably one of the weirdest things that I'd ever think. You would think, oh, everybody's knowing what an i3, an i5, an i7, i9 is, right? And Intel was like, oh, let's throw all that out. I'll just, who cares? All that legacy that we built up. Let's call it a Core Ultra, or a Core, or a Core, or an Intel. And they made it so confusing looking. Okay? Like, what is this, bro? So Core Ultra is good for everyday performance. It's capable of gaming. but it's not for enthusiast gaming. But a 14th gen core processor, which is an i9 or whatever, is an enthusiast gaming chip. And then when you get into the names, apparently a Core Ultra 9 isn't the same as what an i9 was anymore. Oh, we're going to get into Ryzen too. But basically, this is what you're supposed to figure out. The series is the generation, or supposed to be the generation of chips, right? And then the SKU number is really arbitrary. The higher number doesn't exactly mean better. It could just be a different configuration of cores. And then the H, I don't even know what that means. It is so weird. And like, yes, a 14900K or a 13700K, 13500K. Yes, it's a little bit hard to understand, but it's not that bad. And I think one of the main reasons they're doing this is because of AI coming around, and they're saying, oh, these are good for AI. They need to signify it's good for AI for people. Bro, what is AI used for? What? We've done nothing with it so far, at least on the consumer side. Basically, you can blur out the background of your images. You can talk to a chatbot, which isn't really anything that you wouldn't be able to do at a decent level before. H is for hot because it's Intel. True. U is for under hot, but they don't say cold. And then they're saying that these are the old core. I don't even know, bro. Dude, that's insane. I'll look that up in just a second. But like, look, they have the Core Ultra ones that don't have the AI chips on them, I think. And then they do the, and then they show you, Brett, the 14. This makes sense though. Higher number, better. And I think what they should do is they already have a thing on their chips. It's called F that says if it has integrated graphics or not. What they should really do is just say, oh, if it has an F, cool. Then it doesn't have integrated graphics. But just like that, if it has an AI chip on it, just make a suffix on it. And then if they want to advertise it, just make it obvious that, oh, it has AI chip on it. It's simple, but the Intel wants to mislead people. Okay, let me look up that thing that you shared in chat. Oh my god, stop. Trying to highlight it and copy it. What do you think I'm gonna type that myself? Nah, fam. God. Wait. God, wait. Where would this even be? But basically in chat, what Sirius is saying is that there's a chip that's literally called a 185U and a 185H. And they're so significantly different. Intel Core Ultra 185H. And then Intel Core Ultra 5U. It doesn't even come up. Bro. H is basically higher power and U is supposed to be lower power, which is funny because Intel did that whole thing about snake oil. And they're saying that AMD doesn't show you what CPUs you're buying, like their main naming is misleading. And then they do this. And what's funny is H and U are the suffixes that AMD uses to say if it's a high-powered chip or a low-powered chip. They literally went back on themselves saying that their naming wasn't as complicated, and then they used the exact same naming that AMD does. What? Okay, now check out this clip. So if you didn't think that these whole things were confusing already, I bet you're wondering, how is this working out for Intel? Because one of Intel's major arguments about this is that it's supposed to make it easier for people to see what's happening, what chip they're buying, which really, it's obfuscating it. I don't know what it is anymore. I'm confused. And I kind of understand this stuff. So that's Intel's argument. All right. Now check out this.
Supporting basis today. So I gotta be honest, when I saw this article pop up on video cards suggesting that Asus had just outed that AMD was copying Intel's Ultra style naming scheme that they've used so far with Meteor Lake, I thought it was the dumbest bloody thing I've ever seen. I mean, come on, AMD. Have you learned nothing from the RTX 4080 12GB and RX 7900 XT silliness? Just because NVIDIA does one thing doesn't mean you need to do something similar, because sometimes NVIDIA makes a dumb decision they need to backtrack on that you shouldn't.
Yeah. AMD is weird, man. So what Tom is saying here is that whole thing is confusing us with Intel, and then AMD's thinking about copying the same thing. We'll look at the article in just a little bit.
Have copied. And so far, from what I'm hearing,
which is what's so weird is AMD, why did they think that they would need to copy Intel? But they're killing it right now. I don't know.
Intel's Ultra branding is a complete disaster at retail that nobody should copy. I mean, one retail source of mine that was willing to be quoted said that Ultra branding has been a complete sales disaster for them, that people are confused about why Ultra 7 is somehow better than an i9, what Ultra even means, why it costs more than an i9 or an i7 laptop, despite not demonstrating better performance. And well, that's the only quote I'm going to show on screen.
So basically, people are walking into stores, they're like, what is this? Customers are walking in stores like, what is this? What is a Core Ultra? I don't know what an Ultra 7 is, because it doesn't seem like the higher number equal better. It doesn't even seem like it correlates anymore. How do we know what's happening? Higher number better.
I just want to elaborate on like an example. Like somebody who works at a micro center said to me that like someone might come in and say they want one of the latest Intel laptops, and then they'll be handed an Ultra 7, and then they'll say, I don't want an i7, I want an i9, and they'll say, well, it's not an i7, it's an Ultra 7, and then they'll ask, well, is it higher performance? And the answer is not really, but it's kind of more efficient and it has AI. Then they'll ask, well, what is the AI used for? And they'll say, well, really nothing yet. And a lot of people just walk out of stores and
what is the AI used for? Exactly, man. It's used to make companies make a lot of money in the stock market right now.
And say they want to do their own research or just pick up AMD because they're usually cheaper. Whether it's I
have an AMD 6800H laptop, which I think is like a equivalent to like 5000 series desktop ones. It's a great chip on my laptop, man. It is a really good chip. It runs great. Oh yeah, we could make waifus with the AI. True.
Contacts at Best Buy, Micro Center, Amazon, or a few retailers overseas. The Ultra series Intel is using is confusing the shit out of consumers, and it quantifiably hasn't helped Intel prevent AMD from taking revenue in laptop, which AMD has massively taken some laptop share last quarter without needing to copy Intel's naming.
That's the thing, is like, dude, okay, so what Tom has already said is like people disastrously don't really like Core Ultra from Intel. AMD's doing great on CPUs. Like they're clapping Intel's ass right now. Why?
But, you know, if I may go off script for a second here when it comes to those AMD earnings, I do want to point out that AMD wasn't greedy in their endeavors to take laptop market share last quarter. If you look at it, it actually seems like AMD is starting a price war with Intel, even if it costs them some profits. I really do think that they're just hoping to close the door on Intel in 2024, just as I've covered in a recent video that I think you should check out if you want to hear more about that theory. And I don't think Intel can easily survive this price war either.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm jumping off.
Well, this is the thing. So in terms of CPUs and stuff, this is off topic for the actual naming scheme. But like in terms of CPUs, AMD's clapping Intel's ass. And especially as the gaming market, right? Or gamers, right, guys? Go on. Especially in that market, the X3D chips with the V cache and everything, they're amazing. But then even on the productivity side, where there's more cores and stuff, even on the budget end of the market, AMD is still winning right now. And it makes you wonder, I don't think Intel really can cut their prices too much more to clap back, okay? And AMD just seems to be killing them with it. And this might be one of the reasons is that Tom is saying is that they really don't have that much margin on their products, that they're selling things at almost a loss.
Subject here a little bit to bring this up. In the past week, I have heard from multiple retailers that AMD is squeezing their margins lately. You know, I've been reporting for months, if not over a year, that, you know, at a lot of retailers, especially mom and pop shops, if you have like a 7700X, you can expect to make much more money in profit margins than if you sold like an i5 or an i7 next to it. That Intel basically gave you no margins and you're only selling Raptor like CPUs to get people in the door in the hopes that they would also buy RAM and a motherboard with it. That's not.
Just real check. How many of you guys in chat, how many of you guys have an Intel or an AMD processor? That you're using right now. Use consistently in your main system. If you have multiple. Seems kind of mixed. Maybe a little bit more favored on AMD right now. It seems mixed. Surprisingly, it's more mixed than I thought it would be. I thought it was going to be almost sweeping AMD. Always Intel because it's more reliable, bro. I've never had an issue with AMD. I mean, definitely not something I've been able to remember, man. I've been on AMD for like 7 years.
What I'm hearing anymore. I'm hearing that the profit margins on AMD are near zero. And so, well, this is still definitely a win for consumers. Just an FYI, AMD is being aggressive. You can see it in their earnings, and I'm hearing it from retailers. This price war is happening, and retailers are a little upset. But given the recent reports of just horrible news around Intel reliability, I just think AMD thinks they can also...
And then there's issues with this. We'll talk about this in a little bit, though.
...get away with squeezing retailers this year as well. But anyways, to get back on subject, my point is that I think if AMD is just straight up copying Intel's Ultra 100 series by launching an AI 100 series, I think that is stupid if that is all they are doing there. It needlessly adds more confusion to a naming scheme that I see so many people already...
Tom is straight spitting.
...complaining about online. However, if... I keep saying if for a reason. If... because I think we should consider that perhaps Asus accidentally hinted at something else could be going on here. Now look, this isn't something I can get confirmation on right now, so this part of the video has a lot of speculation in it. But just hear me out even.
Okay. So I have already watched this before, so I know what he's going to go into, but you guys might not know this. So basically what he's saying is that AMD, let me look at the article specifically because I have it pulled up here. This is the article he's talking about. I got a burp. Yeah, pre-watched. Hey, I watched it. I was like, ah, shit. I shouldn't have watched that. Asus spills the beans with AMD product name for Strix Point series. Okay, and basically, what Asus seemed to have said is that there could be a AMD Ryzen AI9 HX170. What the hell are we looking at here? What the hell are we looking at? And that's already just so confusing. We already talked about this with Intel. What the hell does this mean? What is a 185H? What is that thing? You know what I mean? So basically, AMD seems to be copying the same naming scheme for some reason. But Tom has a reasoning why this might make some sense, and it has some credibility to it. Wait, I'm on the wrong one.
But if I'm speculating, hear me out. What if Asus just accidentally leaked a special series AMD was hoping to surprise us with at Computex? What if AMD is still going to have an 8050 series, and this AI9 100 series is some Z1 Extreme-like thing that Asus is getting special access to? I mean, they were huge assets to AMD in marketing their first Zen 4 APUs with the Z1 Extreme and the Asus ROG Ally. And does anyone still remember that AMD gave Asus timed exclusivity to their specially...
Dude, bro knows so much, man. That's insane. I didn't know this.
Been HS products with Renoir.
Although I don't keep up like crazy on laptop chips, but still.
Why not do something similar with a special Zen 5 series?
So, like, basically, AMD has already been working with Asus relatively closely, like on the Ally, which we just talked about with Gamers Nexus that they got scammed with. Asus, all I'm saying is that, like, if AMD is working with Asus, hopefully they don't have to go through their RMA program. That's all I'm saying. But they've worked with them like relatively closely, and they've gotten like special chips from them. So they might have a weird name they might be using for marketing.
Especially given that AI is all the rage. And after all, what about that Lenovo leak from the same day as that Asus leak that showed an 8050 series? That 5 and 8050 instead of 8040. That 5 denotes Zen 5. And I see no reason to think that this leak is any less credible than the Asus one, based on who? They both look like legit leaks to me. So maybe AMD is overclocking the NPU in Strix with some golden samples and just binning them for Asus, and maybe Asus blundered that this is a special series that was going to be announced at Computex. Now, to play...
That could work. I kind of believe him. And I'm really, like, I am really genuinely hoping that this is not true, because these are just confused. Bro, these names are confusing. See, that's the thing, is these numbers haven't gotten so high that you can't understand them. Like, you can still make sense of them. Bigger number, better. You know what I mean? Just buy the new thing, right? It isn't that hard to understand, and it doesn't need to be changed. And if you need to, say it has AI in it, just make another suffix. That's what they're there for. That's why this HX even exists here. That's not a suffix, it's a prefix, but it's just saying, like, how fast the chip is. Basically, is this a high power version or low power version? Dude.
Excited to get to some new NVIDIA Blackwell information like I teased earlier in the video. But before I get to that, I really do want to drill down on...
I'm on a different one. I keep clicking the wrong video.
A devil's advocate against myself, against the theory I just proposed. I do think that we need to highlight that it's very plausible that Kraken, or the worst yields of Strix, are what Lenovo was referencing with that 8050 series. Like, it would be so easy if we take the 8945HS, the Zen 4 Hawkpoint flag.
What? Okay, I'm gonna say, like, AMD's naming here is weird, and you do have to understand it. But it's still more straightforward than these other ones. It still makes more sense, because the 8 at the front is the generation. And I think this is scummy the way they do this. The 9 or the 8, I think, is supposed to signify how many cores and stuff, what they're supposed to be clocked at around in there. And then the 4 is actually what series of Ryzen it is. So is it like Ryzen Zen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you know, all that kind of stuff. And I don't know what the last number is. I'm not sure on that one, if I'm being honest. But then the H is supposed to be a high powered chip, and then the S is something. I don't know what the something is. Integrated CPU, GPU. So it'd be like if there's a... Oh, I see. I see. Wait, who said that? Somebody said in chat, I have a 7840 HS. Doesn't that one... I think that was a graphics card, isn't it? Is that the S? Last numbers also has to do with the power. Okay.
Chip that is already out right now, and then above that there will be something with 8 Zen.
You do have to be like a freaking genius to decipher these CPU names, though. Like, I want a better way to name them. Like, okay. I'm hoping these ones don't get that bad, but I know you can't guarantee this with everything. Don't they have a thing? Apple. Okay. So like M4 and all of the Apple chips they have, you know that the next number is always the newest generation. And then they have like the M series Pro and Ultra and all that kind of stuff. It makes sense. It makes freaking sense, guys. And then how you know how powerful the chip is, like how high it's clocked, is just basically by what device it's in. It's like, oh, if it's in a MacBook Air, an Air can't cool that well. So the chip probably isn't going to be clocked as high in a MacBook Air compared to like a Mac Studio. I'll give Apple time to screw up. I feel you, but what Apple would screw up with their names is just by putting way too many pros and suffixes on it, because it might as well just call them successes. I can't even say it. That's a tongue twister. You might, but like they probably will mess this up at some point. But like this is like their whole thing is like they try to make this stuff clean for people to understand. Oh, I have higher number chip, higher number better, good, okay. And I agree with this naming more. There's also the Snapdragon chips. Snapdragon Elite X. So these ones are the new chips that are coming out on Windows, which I'm excited to try. I want to try this at some point, man. But there's also these. I'm hoping these don't get... I don't know how they're going to extend the naming scheme of these. But like, these ones are already kind of weird. What the hell are these? But you do know that it's just Snapdragon X Elite, which means it's their highest end chip. Elite means highest end. Magnus knows, bro. M4, it's like a MAC address. That's kind of cool. But yeah, this basically tells you what's in it. And it's similar. It's pretty easy to understand because these ones aren't even that crazy either. Higher number, also better. So this number in the middle basically just means what it's clocked at. How fast can it run? So yeah, it's relatively simple, and that's what we need. I think AMD and Intel need to stop working and naming things in a way that intentionally confuses people to buy the wrong thing, and instead needs to just make sense of it. Because why does that really? How does that help anybody? Wouldn't you sell more product than you know what they're buying?
5 cores with an underperforming downclocked NPU, and it's called something like the 8950HS. And I mean, heck, the worst Strix yields could be dual sourced into this with Kraken, just like AMD is doing with Phoenix and Little Phoenix right now. And if Kraken isn't ready this year, which as of half a year ago, my sources gave me a roadmap showing that Kraken shouldn't be ready until next year. Whatever, just like Phoenix versus Little Phoenix, Big Phoenix launched first. Maybe they'll just use the absolute drag yields of Strix and shoot them in the...
See, I don't even get this stuff out at the time. Like I don't track laptop chips, bro. Like Phoenix, Big Phoenix, Little Phoenix.
backend is ready, and they'll just be like a mid-range sister series, the 8040 and the 8050
Bro, I just want that raw power on desktop. You know what I mean? You know, I'm on the go. I mainly want battery life. Unless I'm gonna game. Steam Deck.
series. And then the best yields of Strix, most of the Strix volume, will indeed be put into this AI9.
It actually is so insane though. Like, this is off topic, but the Steam Deck, it runs at like 15 watts, and how much power you can get out of it. And then imagine if that was based on ARM architecture instead and it was more power efficient. Just imagine how much better it could be. They'd have to build a whole other translation layer. It is insane, but
100 series of PCs. And in fact, maybe they're calling most of the Strix yields the 9 level at AMD because they know most of Strix is going to raffle stomp Meteor Lake, and they only want the very,
That's
very
fair.
worst yields to be compared to their older
you build a good PC, bro. Hope so. Hopefully all those GPU buying guides help out.
series. And speaking of yields, a final thing I want to point out about this Asus AI 100 leak is that I'm not sure that we should be 100% that 77 tops number isn't some sort of placeholder. You know, at first I was examining if perhaps this could have just been the tops of the NPU of a special series, but then of course I noticed
That is quite the question mark. Y'all see that?
that suggested that it was like clearly saying 45 tops. But then I then noticed if you subtract out the tops and from Hawkpoint, you know, minus 16 from the total of 38, and then you take Strix and subtract 45 from the
So you guys don't know what
supposed
tops are? Tops basically, I forget what it stands for exactly, but it's basically measuring the AI performance. How fast does the AI, you know, do nothing on your system? That's basically what they're talking about.
total of
And basically the performance right now is unclear.
77. You get to 22 versus 32. Now, Strix has 33% more GPU cores and 50% more CPU cores. So I guess, yeah, it's plausible those together are only 42%-ish faster than the, you know, 8 cores and 12 CUs in Hawkpoint. But then I noticed that if you average that out, 1.5 and 1.33, that, and then
Dude, he's mathing, man. Tera operations per second.
multiply it by what Hawkpoint's GPU plus CPU number is, you get really close to 32. So I don't think that we should
I thought it was trillions of operations per second.
discount that these are placeholder numbers created by simply averaging
gotcha.
the bird's eye view specs that Asus is aware of from AMD that they've known for a while. Although the numbers are close enough that I think they could be real and final. And so just food for thought. They could be somewhat of placeholders there. I have roadmaps from 6 months ago that shows AMD was driving to
So basically what he's yapping about right now is that all this AI performance is here. It's like, oh, it's cool, it's cool. But nobody's really using AI right now. I mean, for me, like as a reference point, I use a decent amount of like AI type features. Like if I'm editing a video, I'll use the auto subtitles or something, you know, and that is using AI, but that goes on my GPU anyways. I don't use it on my main processor. It doesn't really matter to me. Some people might use it to blur out backgrounds on webcams or maybe generate images. On a rare occasion, I've put in images into an upscaler and it uses AI to upscale the image, which does work really well, but I only use it like on occasion. But again, I just use it on my GPU because GPUs can do AI right now, but they're going to do it at higher power than what an NPU would do. So until really NPUs are useful to the average person, it really doesn't matter, even if they're faster. It's like, oh, it's cool, it's there for future proofing, but does it really matter? It's only here just so we can start working with it. Yeah, the 4090 has 1321 tops. That's insane. Nowhere close. But yeah, this whole naming scheme, this is some absolute bullshit from Intel. Bullshit, bro. Oh, bro, just tell people what the processor is. Like, the thing is, like, what you need to ask yourself is, how would the average person walk into a store? How would they even know what they're buying? Like, I get that the average person might spend more than they would want to because they get convinced to buying more, they get upsold, that's always going to happen. But how do they even know they're buying a low-end chip? I can't even decipher this sometimes. The only thing that's throwing me is like, oh, it's an Ultra 9 processor. That kind of makes sense. And, you know, based off what Tom said, these are flopping. This is not good. I don't know why. Like, I don't know why it was necessary to change from this that has been so tried and true for years and years. Yes, the number's starting to get kind of big. It still isn't that bad, though. Bigger number, better. And this makes more sense. So yeah, what we're seeing is that there's a possibility that AMD might be doing the exact same thing, and I do not know a greater fumble than this. I don't even know, man. What's up? I don't have any. Yo. So, yeah. Dude, it is insane. I really hope this doesn't happen. This would be the stupidest thing, bro. Okay. I want to move on from that because I know a lot of this stuff has built up now, and obviously Intel making this stupid mistake. This will never. I remember Linus trying to explain this and saying it was an okay thing, and how confused I was when he was explaining it. But we all know about this now. So this has been a big drama as of lately because basically Intel is trying to push their numbers a lot in benchmarks, and they're pushing their CPUs so freaking hard. Like, you know, all of the freaking memes, right? Where it's like, you just have like the stupidest shit, bro. You just have God. So like the Intel 14900K review. I'm taking off my thing just in case some weird shit comes up on my homepage on YouTube. Sometimes it's like those YouTube shorts, man, they're going crazy. But like this has become a meme with Intel because of how stupid it is, bro. Like these chips draw like 300 watts power. It's insane. They just throw all this power at it, and that gets them a little bit ahead in benchmarks, which is ridiculous. So yeah, they get like here, and in Cyberpunk right here, apparently it's actually getting beat by a last generation 5800X3D. So Intel CPUs aren't even doing that well, and they're drawing so much power here. It's like the 14900K is like 286 watts. It's nuts. So that's basically what we've been seeing, is that Intel's been pushing it, and this has actually been forcing some Intel CPUs to die. And Intel claims that they at first weren't saying that this was in spec, that they weren't saying that they wanted motherboard manufacturers to run their CPUs at this speed, but they also encouraged it, because if you bought the motherboard and you got a slower CPU, on the consumer side, consumers aren't going to like that. So it's like this implied, oh, you should probably push the CPU as far as it'll go. But I have some really weird issues. 14900KS, I am once again asking for the 1.6 V core. Isn't that the voltage, bro? That's insane. 1.6. Dude, aren't CPUs usually like 1.3, 1.4 volts? Oh my God. It's wild. So basically, their CPUs have been running way too high power, and it's been killing them. And this combined with Intel naming their chips like this, dude, does Intel like want people to hate them? Do they? I've never seen so many fumbles So basically, Intel reached out to motherboard makers and they said that, hey, you need to start using this baseline profile, which is where basically they set the power draw lower than it used to be. Now this is an older video. I'm pretty sure this Steve, there's so many Steves in the tech space, has actually done a follow-up, and in this he talked about where Intel reduced the power even more on the baseline profile. So this is what CPUs are supposed to be running at now, somewhat in there. I think it's the 188 watts one. This is the new one that people are talking about. And that means, what's crazy to me is this CPU is drawing like 300 watts here. What's funny is the power limit was basically infinite. 4,000 watts. You can't even draw that out of the wall. So basically, Intel was just saying power limit is infinite. And now what kills me is you're drawing like almost double the power from 188 watts. So I guess it's like over 100 watts more. And you're not even getting like, bro, it's not even 20% more performance. Yeah, it's more performance. It's a significant downgrade, but you're going from 141 FPS before in Starfield here to 123. So it's like they were pushing the power that much, making their CPUs so hard to cool and everything, when they just couldn't admit that they were losing. They're losing the CPU war right now. Dude, it is ridiculous, bro. Did he do an average one? In this game here, it went from 161 before to 146. That's like, bro, people wouldn't even be able to tell. And they would push their CPU 100 watts more just to do that. That's the thing with CPUs, with these processors. Any processor usually, the efficiency gets so much worse as you up the power on them. It is ridiculous how much more inefficient they are. So 9800 X30 is probably going to be 30 watts and still be the fastest, bro. That's actually probably true. But it's just so stupid to me. Intel does not need to be doing this at all. And they need to get some trust back, man. Because that's the thing. I know people in chat own Intel products, but I'm assuming you're happy with them. I haven't felt inclined to get an Intel product in a long time. Because freaking 300 watt, well, the one I would get probably wouldn't be 300 watts. It maybe be like 200. But it's like my Ryzen 5900X gets to like 180 sometimes. That's kind of hard to cool. The 7800 X3 is like, what, 60 to 80 watts or something? And it's so fast. I haven't felt the want to get an Intel product in a while. And then that combined with them not supporting their platform for that long. Like, Intel only really put 2 generations of CPUs on a motherboard platform. And honestly, I'm not upgrading my CPU the next generation. I'm I'm skipping one. You know what I mean? So why would you buy Intel? Tony says, i9s have always been pointless to me. Same as 4090s. Most people do not need that much power. And what's crazy too, is people will buy that power and it's going to be irrelevant in a few, like, it's going to have fallen off so hard in just like a year. Or like a couple years. Like, it's just not worth it. Dude, yeah, and if you have a 4090 and a 14900K, yeah, 730 watts on your PC is insane. That's as much as like a small heater. Honestly. The AIO is working hard. Yeah, but then if you combine it too, so this is the new testing with the 14900K and stuff. Compared to the Ryzen 7800 X30, which I have one. They're like the same, at least in Starfield here. Assassin's Creed, the 7800 X30 is actually faster. And F1 They're about the same. So like this only makes the gap between them even closer. And the AMD one is still more efficient. And I'm not sure, you guys answer me this. I don't know why Intel hasn't, like maybe they don't want to admit defeat on it. Why they, unless AMD patented this, which might be the case, why they haven't tried to stack up cache like AMD does on their CPUs. If they really want that gaming crown, why they haven't tried to put more cache on their chips, because that's what makes the difference here. The 5700 X30 was $220. That's an insane deal, bro. Noise is the major. I agree, bro. I want quiet components. I mean, you're working at your desk, you're gaming at your desk. Why would you want this box sitting on your desk to be so freaking loud? Maybe with the chiplet thing. But Intel's also going to basically be doing a tile-based structure now. Maybe they'll put cache on their chips. I'm not sure. But Intel's in a tough spot, man, bro. I am not impressed with Intel. I'm actually thinking about trying them because people haven't been wanting to buy Intel as much, and it seems like places are wanting to get rid of some of the processors. So like Micro Center, for example, has some crazy deals on Intel chips right now. I was thinking about trying it because it's like, obviously it's not like an Intel chip is bad. It's just there's all this bullshit surrounding it. So is it that bad? Should people care that much? I mean, debatable. It's debatable. And I agree, like Intel's been fumbling for a long time, bro. They basically released Skylake which Skylake was 6,000. That's so long ago. They basically released Skylake for what was it? 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000, 10,000, and 1,100 or 11,000. That's insane, bro. All their series, that's like 6 generations of just Skylake over and over again. So yeah, I'm thinking about doing that pretty soon, is actually trying out Intel. And Intel's good though. It's just like, why did they do this shit, bro? Is it just because they need that little bit of performance? They gotta claim that they're on par with AMD, and they just aren't. And I think one of the main problems too is like Intel chips are really good for productivity. They're really fast. Like if we look at the Gamers Nexus thing here, like we talk about Blender, the 7950X is on top here, but they're still really fast here with the 14900K. It is drawing more power than the 7950X, but not that much more power actually. Usually the 7950X is like 250 watts. So they're good for productivity, but one of the main problems now is that, do you guys see what app is running here? This is Blender. Who the hell is rendering Blender on a CPU? Like this is, the only reason you do this is if it's your last resort. Everybody's using a graphics card. Everybody. My GTX 1070 is like as fast as this. I'm not even joking. It's because GPUs are made to render out things like this. And that's what people are like, oh, we need a productivity CPU. Do you? Do you need one? I'm not even sure, bro. Now, compression, this is something that CPUs can only really do. At least at the moment. I don't think we're going to make dedicated processors for this. But yeah, this could be something if you're compressing files a lot, but usually people are just compressing things on a decent basis. I mean, if you're doing this a lot, you have chips for it. Like this isn't that crazy. Like it isn't going to take that long for most people. Here's Adobe Premiere. Exact same thing. Yes, these chips are so fast and Intel can lean into them being good at productivity kind of stuff. But again, everybody renders videos on their graphics card. I'm pretty sure my GTX 1070 is also about on par with this. And that thing is old, man. It's because CPUs really aren't made for this. They gotta use software tricks to make it work, and it just is way less efficient than dedicated hardware. If you're anything in the know about how you make chips, basically there's like ASICs, and then there's general purpose. They're called what are they freaking called again? God, FPGAs, which basically are general purpose processors that can be used for anything. This isn't exactly the same thing, but like kind of think of like an FPGA like a CPU, that the CPU can do anything, but it does it less efficiently. But if you make an ASIC for that thing, it's a little bit more expensive to make, but it's going to be way better. And that's why we're making neural processing units now too, because we used to do AI on CPUs, because that's kind of where everything starts. And then it starts to turn into, oh, we need it faster. You know what I mean? And then we make processors like that. I really think, dude, most people really just, like the average person is fine with like an 8-core 7800X3D, because it can game well and it can do everything else that most people, even power users, want to do. Like if you look at what is it, Optimum, he runs a 7800X3D in his main system, even though he makes videos and stuff. Even somebody like him, who even works with 3D models and everything, he doesn't use it either. So it just really makes you wonder. You know what I mean? You can really obsess about these insane CPU counts, and does it really matter? So bigger number better, but is it really better? So I'm a little bit concerned for the future of Intel. Obviously they have some things going on with their their foundry kind of stuff, where it seems like they're going to be making ARM chips, as well as they're going to be maybe contracting with like Nvidia to make chips for them, which be interesting for Intel to go into that area. I doubt they're going to step down from actually making their own processors too. But you know, it can definitely happen. And like, yeah, their main marketing is, I think that they need to get their gaming processing up. I do love that so much of Intel's new stuff is built at TSMC. Thoughts on Battle Mage? I mean, that's another area where it will be interesting. I don't know much about Battle Mage right now, and I've even talked to people at Intel. I don't really know anything about it. It seems like it's getting delayed, so it's going to be even longer. I thought it was going to be Q2 of this year, so that would have been soon, but it isn't. I haven't heard any news about it, unless they're announcing it at Computex, which is in May here. So I don't know, man. I guess it's Q4. I've even seen 2025. Battle Mage is never late. Yeah. I thought it was going to come out even sooner at one point in time. Like Battle Mage was going to be like last year. That wasn't going to happen. Bro, I was tripping. You see the Northern Lights? Where? Was that? I saw somebody post that on the Discord. That was in... I'm not that far north. I don't think I can even see them. Some people in the US, yeah, I'm not that crazy. I think most people in Canada could probably see it. Intel's market share rivals Nvidia. On what? Heavy workload would be simulating fluid dynamics. I guess. I feel like that could be something down the line that could be done with AI though. I guess in the moment if you have to have it, but you know, that's like a limited lifespan. But that's something that always having a fast CPU is good for. If you're doing niche things, there's always a way to run it on your CPU. Like if you need to get it done, yeah. That could definitely happen. Guys, I think I'm gonna be wrapping up stream here in a little bit. It's fun to stream again. Hey, I'm 13. I built my own PC. I mean, hopefully it's good, man. Also, what do you guys think about? So this is at 1080p. How did it look? Like, can you even tell? I think most people just watch on their phones, so can't even see it anyways. Only pink up here, people. Yeah, like I couldn't see them. Everybody's just running Cinebench. 1440p is way better than 1080p, but the only thing is, if I run at 1440, it's you can't get the latency down. YouTube won't let you stream at ultra low latency at 1440p. So I like seeing chat faster. It also comes up on the screen a little bit faster too. All right, guys. I mean, like, just to like wrap it up though. We did watch this Asus video from Gamers Like. That is wild, man. Fuck Asus about that, man. That's dumb, bro. And then obviously this about the naming scheme from Intel, and Intel's in a weird spot other than that. Yeah, that's such a goofy video, man. All right, boys. I'll wrap it up. Yeah, maybe I'll go look outside and see if I can see him at all. I don't think I can though. I think I'm too far down. I've never seen Northern Lights before. I did see the eclipse though, which was cool. That was earlier this year. That's not the same thing, but you know, it's cool though. It's badass. Like the entire world went dark. All right, I'll see you guys. Be signing off. All right, y'all have a good one. Good night. Good day. Apparently, some people it was like 3 in the morning or something. Go to sleep. All right, bye.